So, welcome everyone to our very first new moon gathering, Loving Waters Attunement call and support call. And here we are, it's 2016, and welcome those of us who are here within this circle, those that are coming on and those who are watching the recording. We're just really excited to be in the movement and the flow of the waters as we move to 2017. And welcome, Holly Ruin. Great to see you. And how beautiful for those who will be looking from a phone. She's literally on a boat on the water. At least that's what it looks like. She's rowing now. No, she's not rowing. No. No, she's walking. Anyway, she gave us a good view of the water. So welcome to tonight's call. For those of you who are just getting used to it, because we've been having this call on the full moon, we've chosen to switch it to the new moon so that those of us that are having water blessings on the full moon can feel relaxed and fully engaged without having to think about trying to come on a call. So once a month we have this call so people can come and really feel the safety net and the support and of a collective that are here together, really building this unity around the water, recognizing our unity around the water. I'm Shelley Darling, and tonight we have extended our call. Each call we're realizing that it needs to go longer and longer. So tonight our call is 90 minutes. And with the focus on the last half hour to really come in practically. What are people doing for their water blessings? What can you share? How can we expand our wisdom, our water wisdom here as we really build this growing community? And we are a growing community of guardians uniting together, remembering our primary sacred relationship, life is water. And our attention is to celebrate our one water as the source of all life upon our beloved Mother Earth, and to globally encourage the simple act of giving gratitude to our water through various ceremonies and blessings as a significant pathway to healing and reconciliation for the planet. And with that, I'm just going to introduce Charlie Riverman Bergeron. And you'll notice that his middle name is Riverman, and there's a great story that goes with that. And he also has this beautiful blog called Reflections of a Riverman. And we invite everyone to go there, to be a part, to share. And Charlie's one of our Loving Waters Water Council. We have a growing water council, and we invite people that really feel this is their calling to connect with us and come offer what is yours to do. Bring that forward. And hi, Will. Will's calling from Seoul. Welcome, welcome. So I'm going to hand this over to Riverman. That's what I'm just kidding. And we're just going to go into. We always like to start our call with a deep resonance. So,
Thank you, Shelley. Yes, resonance. The water resonates within all of us, and it's so powerful to gather as water beings. I always share with people that we're not just human, we're water beings, that we're part of the larger cycle, the water cycle of the universe. So that's been sort of my remembrance of how we all are brought here to this moment and to this group, is just remembering how connected we all are through the water. And so to open the call, I would just like to gently ask each one of you to close your eyes, relax, just take a moment to reach within yourself, to feel the water on your breath as you inhale and exhale. to know that and remember that your body is 80% water, if not more. That without the water, none of us would be here enjoying each other's energy, each other's compassion, each other's loving kindness, each other's joy at coming together around water. And Loving Waters is all about that. We are gathering from the heart, listening to Mother Water as she speaks to us, guiding us, gently moving us in ways that we may have never been moved before. But the time is now. And as I come here tonight, in the new moon, it's powerful. The tides are always expanded by the moon, whether it's the new moon or the full moon. On the mother energy, on the earth, Mother Earth's energy is always interacting, pulling and pushing and pulling and pushing. And we're also embarking on the first day of what we call, as humans, a new year. Yet we are timeless beings, much like the water. We can't remember when the water began, nor can we, many of us, remember when we as humans began. So I ask you to just gently connect in that space of unknowing, that space of that expansive area of just pure energy. Hold yourself open. Allow the energy to flow. Allow it to fill you from your head through your feet. Let it overflow, spilling onto our beloved Mother Earth. Allow Mother Earth to absorb this beautiful energy that flows, knowing that we cannot ever be separated except by illusion, knowing that we are one heart, one love, one water. Just allow that to rest within you. I now call on everything that is great and good, divine, blessed, regardless of belief system, regardless of human knowledge, the collective wisdom of the universe, of the galaxy, to join with us now as we embrace each other in community here on our Loving Waters new moon gathering. And when you're ready, please just gently return back to the screen. And thank you for being here. So, as I was reading on Facebook today, I've been announced as a planetary healer. That's quite a name and quite an honor to bestow upon somebody, a planetary healer. I don't know if I can speak to that. However, yes, Riverman is it's an interesting journey, the journey of Riverman, and how I arrived here at the council and thankfully being invited to join with so many beautiful souls who have such a collective wisdom of water knowledge, and I'm here to learn. So what can I say other than Riverman is a name that I was given because of my energy, and my energy flows like a river, and that was totally strange to me. I had no knowledge or concept of energy, of water, of anything that was not just right in front of my face. And over 25 years now, I have been practicing water blessings, and I didn't even know it. And so what's interesting is how many of us have been doing this work for a long time. And what I'd like to speak to for those of you who are just beginning the journey, and as I see the faces on the screen, I know many of you are not beginning this journey, but I would like to speak to those of you who are beginning and just seeing our page, seeing our web page, hearing us speak, that we are reaching a time now where the water cannot not be heard. And each one of us are being called in some way or manner to respond. And so for many of us, even ones who have been practicing a lot of ceremony and blessings for years, are being asked to step up to a new schedule, a new intensity, a new commitment. And that was the word I was given today, as the year 2017 is going to be a year of commitment. Last year, I speak on radio, and last year was a year of choices. And this year, I sense, is a year of commitment, where the choices we made in 2016, many of which have led us here, are to be completed in form in our commitment to what we have chosen. And so for water, I have committed to the water in any way, shape, and form that I can be of service. And so as a planetary healer, each one of you are planetary healers, although you may not be consciously aware of it. And as you become more conscious, you're only asked to just step gently. You don't have to dive in full body, immerse yourself and struggle and drown, but just gently, as you would walking into the ocean, just gently embrace the water and find a place where you feel comfortable with your unique gifts. My unique gift is the energy of peace, light, and love. And I was given that energy fully embodied through a near-death experience 25 years ago. And so that's all I do, is just serve peace, light, and love. The form is irrelevant. The fact that I do it is what's important. So for each of us that are here trying to figure out where we fit into the scheme of things, honor that. Honor who you are. Honor what your individual gifts are and what you bring forth to the greater community. Each one of us have distinct and unique gifts. And those distinct and unique gifts are the tools that Mother Water wants you to use. We don't have to be somebody else. We have to be ourselves. We have to truly identify what our gifts are and how we're going to use them, and focus them on using them for the cleaning, the clearing of the water, of however it presents itself to you. And part of our journey here at Loving Waters is we're going to share, each one of us, different ways of doing blessings, different ways of gathering, and hopefully share your experiences and your ceremonies and your gatherings, and hopefully we can participate and interact with each other globally, not just in America, not just in Australia, not just in Korea, but globally, and unite as one immense energy field. Not individual beings, but an immense energy field that is to embrace, enhance, and bring the water to its full restorative position so that we can all evolve together. And so that's what I bring tonight. And I thank you for being here. And I don't know if anybody has any questions they want to ask of me, but I'll be more than glad to speak to anyone if anybody has a question.
Thank you, Charlie. I just want to kind of keep this rolling, and rather than jump into questions at this point,
Okay.
just give everybody a time to just really meet each other. This is, for those of you that are getting on that are new, I see Kathleen and Isaac, and I know Sue's been on before. Welcome, welcome. There's also, for those of you, I think you're all on computers. So, Jim, can you not hear me? Hold on.
Sorry, I have myself muted. Yes, I can now.
Oh, okay. Please just put your thumb up and I can go get my headset. My grandson's here, so he's using it right now, but I can take it from him. So in any case, just wanted to really, for those of you who are new, just to have you understand this call is simply a way for us to meet each other, to really feel our passion and our love around water and how that's showing up, what's really emerging in the field of our love for water. And that the field of this water in all its form has a voice. And so tonight, we're inviting you to feel the impulse as that energy is moving through you, and to come and share, come forward after each person speaks, take a pause. Let's just really take in who they are and what they're sharing. And the last half of this call, again, will be for real practical, what do you need to know and where do you need to be supported? And, oh, maybe Jim is coming to Florida and how can we connect? But the beginning of this call is really a chance for us to meet each other. And of course, like Charlie said, if you have a question, feel free to ask it. So I'm going to open the call as if we have I do actually, it's not here. So we invite everyone to bring their sacred water here. And so I'm going to hold up the sacred water wand and you can just grab it and share. The thing about this call is that sometimes there's quite a lot of people on, and we invite you to really try and be concise. And sometimes you'll get to talk more than once or twice, but to allow everyone to have a chance. So this time I don't have a little bell, but we may have to do that eventually. So just welcome everybody and really feel free to jump in and share what is moving for you. And so be it. And I'm going to ask Julie Armstrong to share first because I know that she's in Australia and she can't be on this call for very long. So we want to hear from her. She's doing something quite extraordinary this week.
Welcome. Thank you. It's lovely to see the different faces and the possibilities. I've just been swimming in the South Pacific Ocean, and it's a really hot day here today. I went down to the ocean on Christmas Day and did just a small ceremony by myself. I took my bowl down and went into the children's wading pool next to the ocean and asked permission of the beings of place if I could do a water ceremony, and it felt that it was right. And so I filled the bowl with water, and I acknowledged the 4 directions and welcomed the 4 directions into the ceremony, and also above and the center, and then I did Dr. Emoto's water blessing. Water, I love you. Water, I thank you. Water, I respect you. 3 times. And it was just a very special experience of being there on the edge of the ocean in this little pool, that then I just poured the water into the pool and then the rest of the water into the ocean. And I felt this connection with the rest of the world. It was like, this ocean will carry it. It will carry it into the depths. And I asked that it be purified, that it carry the resonance of purification into the depths, wherever it went, into whatever life form it went into, that it actually uplifted and created a resonance that would enhance life. Because our oceans are deeply, deeply toxic for much that's living there. And that's the plastic. So the water takes us into so much of what we actually do every day. What plastic are we consuming? What are we throwing away? What are we gathering? If we can avoid plastic, if we can make sure it's recycled, those practical steps are part of this journey with water. In what way do we step forward as an advocate for water? I've been working with young people, and we really focused on waste last year. We really focused on writing to the minister, writing to the Coca-Cola companies, asking them to set up 10-cent deposit facilities in New South Wales, and it went through. It's taken years and years and years, but it actually went through. So we were part of that campaign. We actually started 5 years ago. We dressed up in Coca-Cola bottles at Parliament House, and we were part of that campaign. So it's been a long journey. I also went up to the high country last month, and I collected source water, water from as close to the source as I could get. And that's part of the usual water ceremonies I do on the full moon. So I just feel like it's just to ask that resonance that we create in the water ceremonies is actually is in a way part of the rivers that are near us, but also the rivers that we collect water from. It just felt like that's what I needed to do when I went walking. So I've got a number of bottles of water that go with me to the water ceremonies. And one more thing, which was really nice, we've got this really big pot. It's a copper pot that I put the water in. And so it's an old wash bowl, an old tin copper pot, but it had rose petals in. And they were part of the ceremony. And then when I poured the water into the lake, it was just so beautiful to see those rose petals rippling out. You could actually see where they were going. And it was just something that I hadn't experienced before. So I just bring you that as an added extra of the rose petals were in the water, and that fragrance of the atma of rose is a very high resonance. So thank you very much for joining us. Lovely to meet you all, and I'm complete. Thank you.
Thank you. And on this call, everybody, share your watershed. And if you don't know your watershed, that's cool. Just tell us where it is, and by hook or by crook, we'll figure it out. So that's part of the awakening of water. And again, just come on in and share.
Okay, I'll take the talking stick. I was going to sit quietly, but I don't do that well. Good to be here again. I'm in Colorado. I sit right above the Poudre River, which is the only wild and scenic river in Colorado. So our watershed comes from in Rocky Mountain National Park. It starts, it feeds the Poudre River, and it feeds the Big Thompson River. It's pretty frozen right now, but not as frozen as it normally is. We're very short of snow, almost none. So we're watching the changes dramatically here in the mountains. It's not like even being in the mountains in winter. For those of you who don't know me, I've worked a lot on water, especially with the Standing Rock protest, and now with similar protests that are going on all over the U.S. and around the world. So that's been my primary emphasis. Not my only one, because my wife and I also run a nonprofit, and we work with the spiritual aspects of water as well. Shelley's right. I'll be in Florida before too long. Sometime in mid-January, I'm heading out. I have to go to the new camps in Texas along the way, and then we're going to be in Florida for a while. Actually, right now, discussing a potential documentary. I'm waiting to hear back from PBS folks. So the whole water movement is just blowing up, finally. It's a great time to stay focused, stay positive. I really take very seriously the peaceful revolution that the Standing Rock people have been pushing. So everything I'm involved with is as a peaceful protest. If not, I don't get involved. I don't judge them. I just know that won't work anymore. We started a new Facebook group, which is, I think it's up and running now. You're all welcome to join if you wish. Oh, maybe it's not yet. Yes, it is. Water is Life movement. So that one's going to be a little different. That's where we're going to look at options for all these different locations. Anyway, that's where I'm at. It's really good to see you. Some of you I know, some of you I don't. So it's good to add new people to my awareness. I'm done. Stick in the middle.
Kathleen, I'm not sure, but your box is lit, like as if you want to share. I don't know. Oh, there it goes off.
I would invite Kathleen to put yourself on mute. If you're not speaking, it helps with the audio quality for everybody. This is Elizabeth coming in. I would love to say hello to people that have come onto the call since we started. William, it's wonderful to see you again from Korea, and Sue, very happy that you're here with us. Kathleen, Maya, our beautiful Maya. I am on the South Yuba River. My home watershed is the Lake Tahoe watershed. It's where I grew up. This is one of my most important teachers. Pure snowfall falling into a crystalline basin, 1,600 feet deep. What a bell of resonance at the top of the Sierra Nevada range. A pivotal moment for me was when I don't even know how old I was, probably about 10 or younger, was water skiing on these great big old wooden water skis. and the boat stalled. And I was so light that they didn't even know that they had left me behind. Now the boat didn't stall. Anyway, I was left standing on these water skis. Again, I was so light that I didn't sink. I didn't tip over. I was just standing in the middle of this lake as a young person, and felt such a peace. I wasn't afraid. I'm out there by myself. I just really felt the spirit of the water connect me to the rest of the world. And that was one of the earliest memories I have in terms of really receiving the intelligence and consciousness of water into my awareness in a way that it's taken me years to really know what happened at that point. And I invite us all to really go back into our own past and find those really early connection points with water. It's pretty revealing. And of course, I grew up around this lake and the mountain streams and the mountain lakes, and have a whole series of connections with the spirit of water from this really pure place of the high mountains. Connecting to water is a self-exploration in a way that not much else is. There's no dogma attached to it. It's simply the cells of our body remembering our source. And we can be the living blessedness of this grandmother water. I now live on the South Yuba watershed, which is a very controlled river. There's several dams on it. They want to put more. And it's used for irrigation. It was used for hydraulic mining. We're right in the heart of the gold country, and they took down so much gravel during that time, the 1850s, that it basically clogged the Sacramento River and destroyed the paddle wheel traffic on the river, and destroyed the farmers' livelihood. And basically the farmers took the miners to suit to get them to stop this hydraulic mining. They were literally taking down hillsides, filtering the gravel, pulling out what gold they could. And it's very much the same mentality that the oil industry is expressing now. Get what you can while you can, and then get out, and with no regard for the rest of life. And so it's very interesting to be on this watershed. Many of the rivers have legacy mercury. And yet you get in this river and she talks to you. She has been my primary teacher for the last 7 years that I've been doing the water blessings. And I've been working on creating the website here for Loving Waters, and another website I call Water Awake, which is to extend this principle that we're generating and creating here into a social network that really does tangibly connect water protectors, water guardians, water angels, water lovers, water advocates, whatever level you come to it, you're welcome to connect with others of the same intention and heart. That's still very much in beta mode, but those are my two primary practices. I have yet to start a consistent water blessing in my own community. I've done several, but I really want to build the water advocates in my own community because I know they're there, and would love to really call us together as a political force and protect our own rivers, the Bear River, the South Yuba, the middle fork of the Yuba, protect them from any more dams because there's enough. And I'm sure you all realize that dams as they have been built now are obsolete. We can get electricity from turbines without damming the water. The main purpose for dams are to give certain contractors a good deal of money. That's why they build dams. These are projects that, they justify for whatever reasons, but for the most part, it's a project that's providing livelihood for a few people. I just really want everybody for being here. Jim, Charlie, Maya, Julie, Sue, William, Kathleen. Please keep coming back. Please really see that this is for us. It's for you. It's for all of us. And it is what we create it to be. And it will be as powerful as we invest in it. Our own hearts, our own intentions, our own passions, and our own commitment. So I'm complete. The sacred water bottle is in the middle. Oh, one more thing in terms of personal practice. I just keep a water altar right by my bed. And this is very important to me. And I really, again, that self-reflection, able to see the level of my own commitment by the state of this water altar. Very often my cat will drink the water and I'll look and suddenly my bowl's nearly empty. It's like, oh my goodness, I have not been paying attention. So that's a good way for me to really pay attention to where I am in sacred relationship with the water. And I encourage everybody who is on the call and to share with people this importance to have a water altar in their home. Yeah, now I'm complete.
Just reminding everyone to unmute yourself, and if you want to speak.
Hello, this is Kathleen Willow speaking. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, welcome, Kathleen. We can.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. My phone's giving me a wee bit of trouble. Earlier, it had told me that I was muted, so I don't know if any noise came through previously. If I had, I apologize. I want to claim my space in this sacred circle and say thank you for having and holding this space for me to come to. A little background. I was greatly moved in April of 2010 with the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. And that ignited me into sacred action of doing ceremony for the water. I have been moved since then, which is why I'm on this call today. Most of my work for the past 7 years has been doing water blessing ceremonies, public and private. The first 2 years after Deepwater Horizon, they were mostly private ceremonies. And then I kept getting the feeling that it needed to be more than just, private ceremonies. They needed to be public, and started having larger public gatherings. But that has been the extent of my work, not to minimize it. Prayer is action. But I would like to step it up, in the light of what is going around globally, the feelings, the movements, the the amount of awakening and energy that is moving towards a lot more physical action. I would like to do more of that. I'd like to learn more about what everybody is doing. And that's why I'm here. So thank you for being here. And I'm going to mute myself again and listen and learn. Much love to all of you. Thank you. I am complete.
Much love to you, Kathleen.
Kathleen, did you say where you were located?
No, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to know because you were saying.
Okay, a little bit more information about me. I live in Boston. Which is the Switch River is the watershed I work with the most. I do have website, Weebly website, and then Facebook websites, and Sound Healing for the Waters website, and lots of different pieces to the work I've done. And Elizabeth, I love what you said about having your water altar next to your bed, and that when you realize the cats drank the water, and it's like, oh, needs the attention back there. That's actually one of my tools that I use for myself as well. Because I've been doing the water blessing ceremony for so many years, people know about this work. And if they go away on trips, they'll bring back water for me from around the world. And I started doing world water blessing ceremonies with the water that people bring back for me from around the world. And I noticed, I go through cyclically, like we all have other things in our lives. And I snickered and laughed because as soon as you said that, I looked at my water altar, and I have a new bottle of water from Malaysia that I haven't integrated into the world water bottle. So thank you very much. And that's it, I guess.
Niwachoni. I love this call. So Emil, I see you raising your hand.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, and I just figured out how to unmute myself.
There you go.
Actually, I've been trying to figure out how to mute myself because once I get talking, I'm like water. It's just a stream of ever-moving consciousness. My daughter said to me last night, because I told her it's a problem. People can't find a way to jump into the stream. I keep going on and on and on and on and on. I have the Erie Canal as the closest body of water near me. It's only a block away. It's walking distance. In good weather, I love to go down there and just sit alongside it because we have many, many various kinds of water creatures who inhabit it. And I respond to them, birds, water-type birds, and ducks, and geese, and even swans. So, and we have many fish that live in there, mostly carp. But I really relate to them. And on our call last month, on the full moon, I committed to water, the element of water, because it's the element, along with earth, that I lack most in my own physical and mental constitution. I'm an Ayurvedic health consultant, so I I relate to life through those 5 elements, and I've made a study in the last 30 years of the various different, the nature of each different element. And because earth and water are so minimal in my own nature, personally, as I show up as a human being, they're not elements I'm that familiar with by inexperience. My nature is air and fire and space, so from within my own self, that's who I am. I relate very well to that. I relate to people who are also by nature air, space, and fire people. I just I'm attracted to people who represent the earth and water elements, and I can see in creation how the earth and water elements represent this planet where we live. Earth and water is the nature of this planet.
Is it working?
Hello. I mean, there's other people talking, so maybe it's a sign for me to stop talking. All right.
Hey, Sue, this is Shelley. I'm not sure because everyone's muted, so I'm not sure what we're hearing. But
Yeah.
also, if you can, if you want to just finish up, you don't have to just jump off. I just want to make sure also that adjust your mic a little bit. It's a little bit buzzy when you're speaking. It's a little bit challenging.
Oh, it's buzzy when I'm speaking. Okay, maybe it's all right, let me see what I can do because I'm using earbuds.
Okay.
Apologize. All right, is that better now? Is it better now? I think it was.
Yeah, that's a little better. And did you want to finish up? And then
Okay, all right, I'll finish up. And the closest large body of water is Lake Ontario. It's one of the Great Lakes, and it needs a lot of healing. Even the Erie Canal is somewhat polluted. It needs a lot of healing. And because water isn't my natural element, and I've committed to it on that last full moon, and now I'm noticing that we're coming into the year 2017, and I added up the numbers to that, and they add up to the number 1 in the oneness. And water is the element that unites Earth. If you look at Earth without water, it's dust, and wind will scatter it. But water will bring the element of Earth, the dust of Earth, together. So it's a very unitive element, which is my predominant goal on Earth, is to not only achieve unity within my own self, but to achieve unity with all other forms of life, human and other natural forms of life, and life beyond this individual planet Earth. It's quite a large goal and vision that I have. And so, because water is so strange in a way to me, but it's the element that I need the most, which is why I commit to it. And now I'm committing to it really as my vision. This is a new moon tonight also. So I'm actually planting the seeds of oneness and unity, watering those seeds with using water to germinate that seed. But you have to use water to germinate a seed, otherwise it remains hardened forever. So it just began creating, this vision began presenting itself to me just in the last few hours, almost like minute by minute, it's opening up to me. And now I'm on this call to share this and sort of further plant it, make it more of a commitment in the form of words with a like-minded and like-hearted, spirited group to make that commitment for the year now, not just to the element of water alone, but using water, allowing it to develop more in my nature, to attract it more in my relationships with people who have a lot of water in their element, so I can learn it. I need to learn water. I haven't begun to do water ceremonies yet because I'm alone here where I live. I haven't, because I don't have enough water in my nature. Air and fire and space elements don't connect. It's water that connects, so I don't make connections well by nature, so I'm wanting to attract that which would be a unitive, connective individual or group of individuals here where I live. Until then, I'm a one person in a year of oneness. And I'm happy and willing to do things as a one person. And I do relate very deeply to Master Emoto. I have done some water ceremonies with some Emoto people here in this area. We did one healing of the water ceremony at the Erie Canal right here where I live. And I have some beautiful, beautiful glass bottles that I labeled with attributes, divine attributes like compassion. And compassion is the unitive element that is needed, I believe, for our healing on the planet in general. So I'm going to bring that one bottle out, fill it with water that's labeled compassion, so that every time I'm going to just only drink water from that bottle. I'll carry it with me so that reminded of that element of compassion, to feel it more myself or other people, to invite compassion into other people's lives, to exercise compassion together. That's what water does. So I want to be more of a water person, even if it's not my nature. I think that's why I'm here on planet Earth, is to learn what that element feels like, not just to get in the water and swim in it, which I love to do, but to literally feel it from within my own self, to acquire more water in my own self. So I'm complete with that, and thank everyone for listening and being present here.
Oh, beautiful. Well, greetings, everybody, water guardians, water lovers. I apologize for coming on late. I felt like water that had come up against a dam. I had a little car problem, then a little traffic problem getting home. And I was like, oh, okay, now I know how water feels when it comes up against our dams. But there's so much flooding me right now. It's so beautiful to have you all here and to feel this group growing. Elizabeth, I was loving that you were reminding us about reflecting back to childhood and our initial connections with water. When I work with clients and sometimes in the blessing ceremonies, I invite people to remember back to childhood and powerful experiences with water. And, you know, without exception, everybody has something that is a beautiful memory. And for me, I was a water baby from the beginning. Sue, listening to you, I came from Pennsylvania. I grew up in Pennsylvania, but around the Susquehanna River watershed, and in a rural area with the creeks, and we had a beautiful pond behind my house where I learned to bird watch and watch all the beautiful wild birds that would be migrating through and land on the pond. And we swam in the pond, and in the winter skated on the pond, and I just was always playing in water, swimming in water and playing in it. And it was powerful, because when I left Pennsylvania and moved to the island of Martha's Vineyard in Massachusetts, I was then surrounded by water, and found that island communities were very early on very, very conscious of the preciousness of water and preserving it. And you had that limited amount of water, and we had to be careful about saltwater intrusion if there were too many wells drilled or too much drawing on the groundwater. And people were much, much more conscious early on of protecting the purity of water and conserving it. And it was beautiful that 10 years that I lived on the vineyard to be with people who were just incredibly environmentally sensitive. And it was there that I first started to work with the native peoples, the Wampanoag, and one grandmother in particular who taught me a lot, and we started to do ceremonies together, honoring all the elements and the directions. And it started me in a direction of the messages of the indigenous people and how they just have lived for so many thousands of years in attunement with the waters and with the earth. And it was a very sad time for me when the 3 Mile Island happened, the near meltdown of the nuclear plant. And there was such, my family who still lived there got very, very active then. And there was this, sense of that whole river and that whole watershed could have been, I'm sure it did receive a lot of radiation, but there was this real banding together of people to step up to protect the waters. And I remember being so proud of my own father, who got very, very active and had a silk screen, made armbands, and started marches anti-nuclear and protecting the waters and the land and the people's health. And now, 32 years ago, I moved to California, and as a child, I longed to be near the big water, Mama Ocean. And I had that on the island and of the vineyard, and now I'm here in Santa Barbara area. I actually live in a small town called Carpinteria. The watershed here is from the Los Padres National Forest and Los Padres Mountains. And we don't have any big rivers like the Yuba. I love being in place with the Yuba, with the power of that river. But we have a lot of small creeks that come down the canyons. And right now we're about 4 years into a very major drought. And people are waking up and becoming more and more aware of the preciousness of water. I really got awakened to water as a living being back in 1987, and I had an experience in the backcountry up here with the river, with the creek, and I really slipped into an altered state and saw the vortex beings in the water, felt a direct transmission through my heart. The water spoke to me, shared a lot with me, and invited me to make a commitment of loyalty to protecting it. And I did that at that time, being a little scared, not sure what it was I was doing or what was happening for me, but having that profound knowing that water is an intelligent being, and that it wanted to be in communion. It wanted to be in this reciprocal relationship and was inviting me. And it's gradually evolved over the years, learning about Dr. Emoto's work and other people, that I felt the reinforcement of what I had received that day, and started to bring the awareness of water and water in our bodies that take on the impression of prayers, of language, of emotion, of music, of our surroundings, and to share that with my clients. And it was really after Fukushima that several of my women friends who were ceremonial types, we decided we were going to start doing regular ceremonies for the water to bless the ocean, particularly, which was receiving all of that energy from the Fukushima spill. And then that continued. I was able to spend time with and work with Marshall Golden Eagle, who's Paiute ceremonialist, who brought forward the beautiful ceremonies that he called medicine water wheel ceremonies, and learned that work from him. I had a time to work with the Maori leader, elder, and just learning other ways that people come in to communicate with water and bring blessings to water. So I have been doing the monthly ceremonies on the full moon for the past 2 years here in this area. And right now, a lot of collaboration is starting to happen with the Chumash people here. They have sort of kept themselves separate, but through Standing Rock, there is this place, a meeting of the community, and even the Chumash people have had different divided sections of, I don't know what to call them. They haven't always been united. They're beginning to come together. And our next big thing is to work to protect this area against fracking. We have offshore drilling, and they're beginning to, they want to do like 8 different fracking projects here. So we have our work cut out for us to bring the community together. And so I work on that spiritual, energetic level with the ceremonies, trying to invite more and more people from the activist groups and from the local politicians to come to the ceremonies, and then have discussion groups afterward. And yeah, it's the water is truly uniting us here. So I'm so deeply grateful in continuing this work, and being part of Loving Waters just feels so important to me, that I don't feel alone in that I feel all of us around the world doing this work. So I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. It's beautiful when we just dare to listen to what's calling us and trust that, that the others will be there in support of it. I was more alone when I started this work, and now it's so exciting to fill the circles around the world of people who also understand water is life, water is intelligence. So just one practice that I want to share that I do is that in the shower in the morning, I talk to the water, I sing to the water, I thank it. I begin my day by blessing the water as the water is blessing me. And I feel like any day I can't do that, I really miss it. That's my cup of coffee in the morning. It is to unite with the water in the shower. And I also, before I drink water each time, I give a blessing and thank it and invite it to bring a particular quality to me. And I hold it to my heart and drink it. And I teach my clients to do this too. Thank you.
Thank you.
So everybody take a nice deep breath. Really feel the waters within our living system. Want to welcome who came on, whose number is 847. And we're just having this opportunity to really get to know each other. In the next few minutes, I think people have already been sharing what they do as a practice, but also we want to try and have the end of this call to be a sharing of practice. So the invitation is to not tell your whole story tonight, but just to really bring the essence of what is moving in you with the water, as well as for those of us that have been on the call, I love that too. Elizabeth brought in water, remembering when we were younger, what that was like. So I know William hasn't had a chance to speak and would love to hear from 847, and whoever you are, just welcome. And then let's just kind of shift into this, what do we need as water guardians? What do you need as an individual water guardian, being in a community and wanting to participate more? Maybe you have done, maybe you've done water blessings, but maybe you'd like to know who else is around. How do we connect with others? So we'll take a few minutes to share that. So, but we want to open the call to those that haven't shared yet, if you want to, of course. And we love to hear your voice. At least, where's your watershed? Just say hi to everybody. And so that we have a sense of how the water's moving in this circle tonight.
So I'll introduce myself since I just came on. This is Janice Hollinger, and I live in Chicago, and my watershed is beautiful Lake Michigan, which I live about 2 blocks from. So when I go do my ceremony, it's over at the lake. And I'm new to the whole water blessing thing. I'm loving it, though. I'm really into it. It is. It's life. Mini Wakani. That's all I have.
So good to have you on.
Hi.
Nice to see you. Nice to feel you. That's the beautiful thing about water. Yeah. Feeling you. Fantastic. Will, would you like to jump in? I know you've got a bubbly heart. I don't know. Would you like to bring your wisdom from where you are, your place of power?
It's nice to meet everyone. I'm new to the circle. My story has been, I started tapping into the water. It's probably like as long as I can remember, but it happened to me about exactly 1 year ago. I was in the tropics, and I was just feeling the water, and I felt the waves kind of coming into my body, and I felt the energy, and I just felt so humble by the strength of the wave that just comes. And I was in the tropics, and it was salt water, so I was just kind of bedazzled by the taste of it. But I submerged myself in the water, and then there was this current, and there was this energy. And I realized this might be a pulse. This might be a pulse of the earth. And then I started experimenting a little bit more, and then during that time I was there was a full moon. And it was in Indonesia, and there was a ceremony going on, and it was like a full moon ceremony where they light these little candles and they light it up. And then they had this idea that they have to do this blessing because they honor the moon, and the moon is the time clock that they followed, and the farmers would kind of like measure their seasons and their crops according to the movement of the moon. And they understood the water because the water gave life to their rice fields and everything else. And I just it was just such a touching story because it's just they're honoring water for food, and I was honoring water for energy. And then I went a little bit further, and I honored the water. And I said, "Wow, thank you, water, for being here for us, for being life." And then it just started. It started coming like I get illustrations in my head, and once the illustration started, it wouldn't stop, and the gratitude for water just kept going and going and going. And then my realization, and this is the realization that I want every man to have, is when the heart is centered, you realize that, well, this is my realization, that we are born in water. We came into life in water, and the water has to be clean. And this filtration system is the womb. So as I submerged myself back into the water, I realized I was going back into the womb, and I was so grateful for the warmth, for the heartbeat, for the energy, for the security, for the preservation, for the growth. And I was just like, oh my God, I gotta give thanks to my mother. And it was just, I crawled into that water, and I just like went into the womb, and I said, I'm so grateful for being born. Look at these hands, look at this flesh, look at this energy, look at this vitality. Oh my God, it's water. And then that's where it started. And it's been 1 year, and I've just been giving thanks to water. And I realized that the more thankful I am, it's this consciousness, it's this energy. Like if I just drink this water and I pour it on my head, people think I'm washing my hair. But another person might say, wow, this guy's really submerging himself. He's washing, he's cleansing himself. But it's how we treat water. And so I learned to treat water as my mother, and I treat my mother as water. And it was this worship, this mutual understanding of honor. And when I look at water, I just look at love. I look at women. I look at femininity. This is the vitality. And then I just thought, hey, if I can think this, other people can think this. And believe me, 1 year ago, I was Donald Trump. And it changes. So I think, like, I look at people like Trump and I'm thinking, he can change too. He just has to have the right mechanisms, the right equation to go off. And it's appreciation, it's gratitude. And it just dawned on me. I said, water is the womb. And you don't go up to someone and say, like, I honor the blood in your system, because it's kind of more ancestral and barbaric. But no, you're water. You're from a womb, and so am I. And it was just this greeting that I started. And then now my friends, like my previous friends, are over here now. And my consciousness is now steering me over here. But it's on every birthday. I don't say the word birth. I just said, Happy Womb Day. I honor the womb and the water that you're from. And it clicks, and their consciousness is kind of moving, because when they come to me and they say happy birthday, I say, no, you just say happy womb day and give thanks to my mother. So as I'm changing the story of water in my life, it's changing the story of water in other people's lives. And that's how the consciousness travels. So I'm honored to be here with so many water lovers, and I like to know how to contribute more and how to honor water more. And I think we're onto something. We're onto something, because if I can change, other people can change. And I might be an element of change here, but I'm not the catalyst. I'm just part of your equation. I'm part of your dimension. I'm part of your fantasy. And I welcome and I honor the energy that everyone has here to bring us all together. And I'd like to contribute to this movement. Thank you.
Woo! Yes, I love that womb day. And I guess it's time for me to quickly jump in, because I'm going to follow this thread, this resonant thread, because I've just spent some time with Debbie Tide, who is the head of the sushi order in North America, and she's been traveling with the grandmothers, and they're totally focused on the water. And they're on this journey for a couple of years called the Sacred Journey of We. And one song, I mean, somehow I want to put up more songs on the website, because the songs are the vibrational frequency of water. They're the resonance. And so she taught us two quick stories I want to tell. So she taught us these songs, and one was a sacred and secret water song from really Waitaha, or the Maori, but from New Zealand. And they always speak to the womb waters, and they call it the cherishing waters. And that's how they relate to everything. So it's totally in tune with your experience and what you're sharing with all of us tonight, really elevating our consciousness and our resonance. And the other thing, which I think is so incredible, so they went to Standing Rock, and Mary Lyons, who's the Ojibwe water grandmother, has been going there quite a bit and bringing supplies and stuff. But someone who was with Mary Lyons and Debbie and some of the people that were at Standing Rock when things were really elevating, probably a couple of weeks ago, and they said they were singing all these different chants and songs, and they would gather at the river. Every 300 people would, and more, every single person would go through the line and bring their blessing to the water. It would go on for hours and hours and hours. And she said, but the one song, and I was talking to Julie last night, and I said, I want you to hear the song, because it's the simplest song. that was the song that stuck. And for 3 hours, they sang this one simple song. And it goes like this, really simple. Water is my body, water is my soul. When we go down to the river, to the water, we are home. And that's really, and just over and over and over again, thousands of people were singing this one song for like 3 hours. The simplest song, anyone can do it. And that vibration, that recognition of the womb waters. And it's so interesting to me because in those thoughts of what water was to me growing up, it's funny because I grew up in a family that my father had a boat. We were on the water constantly. We traveled always by water. And always during vacations when I was younger, we would go to the Bahamas. And I loved those waters because you could see 60 feet down to the bottom. And I had a really big fear of water. When I almost drowned when I was younger. I remember being caught in that wave. And I've always had the sense that I drown in water. So I've always had this really sort of a love and hate for water, love and fear, I would say, not hate, love and fear. And yet my whole family, my parents sold everything for 10 years and they traveled around the world in their boat. And I was sort of the princess. I never learned sailing, nothing. I just sat in the hammock, and swam.
Hey, we all know you're a princess.
Oh. So that's funny. Never really, I always had this resistance about being the queen too. So I'm sure it's all tied together. So I'm sure it's going to bubble up a lot of stuff here tonight. So I feel that water has called me back to itself. That's what I feel for myself. And I feel very teary, the waters, the tears. Water called me back, and water's integrating itself. It's teaching me to understand my wholeness, those aspects of self that never felt integrated, that always felt threatened and dominated. I feel that the water is bringing me home in a way that I've never understood it. And funny, like I grew up skiing too. And I remember when I was a teenager and I finally left home, I was like, why would anyone be by the water? Like the mountains are so incredible. And I lived in the mountains, and it took me 5 years to realize I was hiding out until I made it back to the ocean and realized, oh my God, I felt that expansion of my heart when I started to recognize the water. So I want to just thank everyone for sharing their stories here tonight. It's been it is so miraculous. So we have about 10 minutes, and everyone so far on this call has shared. I would really like to open it up to any questions. How can loving waters serve you? What are your needs? Anything that's bubbling up around the practical aspects of water. We've heard some of our beautiful water advocates here sharing some of their practices. Feel free to share a practice of yours. But in this next 10 minutes, please keep it really, really short. Let's bubble it out. Not all the questions have to be answered tonight, but this is part of our collective here and our love for each other. So just want to open it up. The beautiful water crystalline water stick is open, and please feel free to jump in.
This is Elizabeth. What I would really love to hear is how we as a circle, as a tribe of water beings, awakened water beings, can serve you as a water guardian. And again, the answers don't have to be presented. The questions are important. So, because this is a new organization, we see it as being global. We really want to grow this more, to have optimum potency. And so even if it's not clear for you tonight, please consider this this inquiry as to how we can serve you as a water guardian. Thank you.
I'd just like to jump in and say that with the initial experience, and of course this is changing, is that I've done water blessings by myself many times, and it's very beautiful. And the idea is actually just to share that with one or two people. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be a big circle. And that it's particularly, I feel this incredible, to share it with young people. They really get it. And they're really looking for it. They're hungry for it. And then to make it so simple that they can actually share it with their tribe. So for me, the water blessing is something so simple that anyone can do it. We can all do it. We can do it all the time. So that was part of the initial, that we make little pods. We create little pods. We share the whatever we do, and it doesn't have to be the same. That's the beauty of it. Water's always changing. Sometimes it's ice, sometimes it's water vapor, sometimes it's a stream, sometimes it's a river, sometimes it's an ocean, and they're all different qualities of water. We all have different expressions, and that it's just rippled out. So whatever you do, do it and share it. So thank you. I'm complete. I actually need to leave. So thank you so much for being here. Love you all. Thank you. Looking forward to meeting you next time.
Shelley, I would invite you to put yourself on mute. We can hear your typing.
Hello, this is Kathleen. I definitely want to say that I absolutely agree with 100% with what she just said. When the person had asked what we can do to support you in your work, the first thing that came to my mind was that question was asked of me a few years ago during a public water blessing ceremony I was doing. And my immediate response was, if you loved what we have done here today, continue to do it on your own and share it with other people. I can't think of anything more beautiful or more powerful than when I started doing water blessing ceremonies, and then I started being invited to other people's. I started doing this work alone. Literally, I was alone doing this work. And as the years went by, I started asking, where are you? Where are my brothers and sisters doing this work? And lo and behold, people started coming out of the woodwork, and I started finding out about people who have been doing this work for 10, 15 years, and I didn't know that they were there. But when I needed to know that you were there, I started seeing you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I needed to know that you were there. And you were. And that's how I was supported when I started feeling tired. I honor you. I'm complete.
Thank you, Kathleen. We honor you for all you're doing and what you've been holding for so long. I had a very similar journey in terms of doing it alone for a long time. It's such a great joy to do it with a circle of others.
So we want to honor the time here. There's some of us that do think we're going to need to go for 2 hours once a month. But for tonight, we called it for 90 minutes. And what I would like to do is just share some upcoming things, and then we can end our call with Maya. Do you have your poem with you? Would you like to read that? Okay, beautiful. Beautiful way to end this call. Maya wrote this gorgeous water poem. And Charlie, just want to thank you for bringing your energy and love into this call. So our next gathering is on the full moon. That's locally and globally in your communities. And on January 12th. So it's a new year, it's new beginnings. We want to be able to support you and your needs. And here's one way that from this call to stay there, well, there are two ways that you can really stay to get connected. And so with this beautiful new website that's been created, lovingwaters.life, which we loved how that happened. And there's the opportunity to go make submissions for your watersheds. We can help you. You can just contact us through the website. You can also send an email to us via Facebook if that's what's easier for you. On the Loving Waters Facebook page, there's a blue icon button that says send email. So you can directly send your questions. You can send any information about your watershed. We're happy to, we're in the second phase. We're going to start putting up some of these things. If you're doing water blessings, we'd love to have that information. We'll post it on the website and we'll post it on Facebook as well. And what will happen by doing that, by just making that extra step, is that we can support the connection of other people, just like you're speaking to. Other people need to see us. And we need to see other people. And the way that we can do that is both through the website and through Facebook. So that's just a powerful way. So please sign into the website so that we can add you to the emails that are going out regularly. We're not going to overtax you. They'll probably just go out once or twice a month at the most. And we also will, part of the phase 2 is to create a once a month shout out to everyone that people can see all at once where we're connecting, how the water is connecting us in the most gorgeous way. So I just want to check with Elizabeth. Is there anything else that Charlie, Maya, is there any detail logistics that you want to add for this for people who are watching the replay? Or
I just wanted to add it is important for all of us to connect with each other. And the website and information, getting the information to us of where you're located. And I know for me, I'm in Maine, and so I believe it's Kathleen, you're in Boston, which is not far away. And my primary thing was to do New Hampshire and Maine, but I grew up in Boston. So my first river was the Charles River. And so connect, please. This is a beautiful way for us to connect with each other and enhance each other's lives and work. So thank you. That's all I wanted to add to that.
Beautiful. And I'm coming to Boston. I grew up in Boston. And so, Kathleen, I'll be speaking to you as well. Will, your love energy and I love what you're sharing tonight. And Sue, thank you for coming. And so I'm going to hand this over to Maya so she can close our circle in resonance and love.
And I just wanted to add also that anyone who does a circle of water blessing to post pictures too, and photos. It's a wonderful way to just feel each other. But I also envision the future with a map with all the little dots where water blessings are happening. So thank you. So this is a poem. I am a poet, and water is how poetry and words come into me like water. It just flows in, and I don't feel that I've actually written it. It's flowed through me. This I'm just calling Ode to Water. Water, how is it that you go everywhere with no obstacles but for the human made? In your softness, you swirl and slip around the hard and staid. Stroke the stones as you pass, laughing at their stubbornness. Seep through cracks to find the depths where darkness reigns, and scatter your diamonds in sheets of light across seas and lakes and streams. Shape-shifting into ice, you remodel landscapes like a feng shui master. Move mountains and smooth out the hills, carve continents into whole new shapes. Never afraid to fall, you trust and surrender. Cascade yourself from heights that would make me swoon, just for the joy of it. And day after day, dance a slow cha-cha with the moon. And when you grow tired of earthbound life, you find wings, float angelic across the sky, masquerading as clouds. Even go so high that you merge with the sun, survive its fiery furnace, who knows how. And best of all, you live in me as blood and breath and flesh. And miracle that it seems to be, you've thus learned to walk and speak and sing. And water, you remember everything you've ever been or touched, and bring those gifts to me so I can also know I am part of all in this whole vast sea, and that I too can trust in its seamless flow. Thank you, water. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Maya.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, water. We'll just take a pause and then close this call. And please share our posts. Please share your love of water on the Facebook page. If you know that you want to make posts, just send a private message and we'll open you up as an editor. We love you, water. We thank you. We respect you. And with that, thank you so much. We'll see you in the next new moon. And but prior to that, let's activate for the full moon. Please contact us if you need any support. And we'll send people your way that are in your areas if you're going to do a blessing. So, aho and mini wachoni.
Mini Wachoni.
Mini Wachoni.
Mini Wachoni.
Mini Wachoni. Many blessings and much love to each of you. Thank you all for being here. You're beautiful.
You've melted us. We're just love, love.
Love to all.